Welcome to Happy Place Crafting, crafting therapy for the soul. Hello, my crafty friends. Today we're going to continue working on Anna, the sewing journal, and this is part 2 of kind of tweaking or finishing the decoration part of Anna and getting her done. And so we're just kind of working on the pages and trying to tweak them and get them finished. I think I mentioned before that I ended up having to split this journal into 2 journals because it got so thick. So it's not just one sewing journal, now it's 2. It's Anna and Gina. And I will be doing flip throughs of them both in the future, so be looking out for those videos as well. So I did add part of the pattern paper to this page, just a little piece, here and there. I think it just kind of gives it a cool touch, just gives some added dimension to it. And I don't know, I kind of like the idea of having it there. Zhuzh, I guess you would call it. I don't know what else to call it. It is what it is. I am one of the people that likes to add little sayings here and there, or little quotes. Some people like to do it, some people don't. I'm one of the people that I like them. I think it adds something to it, and if it's not your thing, then don't do it. And usually, what I end up doing is I go in and to my Word program and just use it there and do it there. It's just as easy. I really wanted to do this page kind of like a wedding type page, right? Because I had these little, advertisements of these wedding pages, and I just thought they were really kind of cool. The ads, wedding ads, I guess is what they are. And I just thought they were neat. And, if you're a seamstress or whatever, I'm sure it's a big project to take on a wedding dress, but I know a lot of seamstresses do things like that. So I think I'm just auditioning things, trying to figure out what's going to look good. I think I figure it needs some kind of lace or something to go with that doily. It looks like I might have found something, maybe. No, maybe not. Oh, do I decide to use the hanky? I love that printable, by the way. I purchased those printables off of Etsy, the hanky ones. They are just really gorgeous. I'm pretty sure that they're images of real vintage handkerchiefs. And then she just turned them into digitals. They're just really pretty, and I really like them. And I think I just put handkerchief digitals into Etsy, and they came up. There's a bunch of different ones, but these I really, really loved because I think they look authentic. It's not like they were just like designed. It's obviously like an image. And I like those flowers, so I think I decided to just use those. Oh, do I make that a tuck spot? I kind of forgot about that. I think I do make it like a pocket. Kind of clever. What am I doing now? Trimming it. Oh, I trim part of it off just to make it a pocket. Yeah, that looks cute. I like that. I love making little pockets out of unexpected things. Piece of trim off of a hanky becomes a pocket. Who would have thunk it? Never know, do you? It's pretty cool anyway. This journal was so much fun to do. It really was. I like to sew anyways. Maybe that's why I had fun doing it. I've been sewing since I was a little girl. I mean, my mom taught me how to sew, so. But, yeah, so I like fabric and, lace and all the goodies, thread and all the goody things that come with it. And my mom ended up being a quilter. She ended up, well, no, we called her a topper, really. She didn't really like to quilt. She liked to make the tops of quilts and then not really do anything with them. But so we used to call her a topper. But um, I like to hand quilt. I love to hand quilt. I really like to hand sew, actually. I like anything that keeps my fingers busy. And so, I mean, I can remember doing cross stitch back in the day, and I've always been into that kind of stuff. So I think maybe that's why a sewing journal was like kind of a no-brainer for me. If I was going to do a journal and my first, like major journal, then it was going to be something like that. And sewing, it's such a broad category, right? I mean, you can sew so many things. You can make quilts, or you can make clothes, or, you can do, like I said, you can cross stitch, you can needlepoint, you can do anything. So it's a pretty broad category there. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm trying to find, oh, I've got all this little, I thought I would put it into a frame, but the frames didn't match up. Every time I have that issue where, I have pre-made all these little tiny frames, right? Put them up. So if I needed them, I'd have them. And then when I go to try to use it, then it doesn't fit right. And then I'm thinking, why did I really make all these? Why did I mass make them if I'm not going to be able to use them? And so I remember Biddy Penny saying she's not like really into mass making things because she feels like then she just doesn't really use them. And sometimes I have to agree with her about certain things. Like I mass make them thinking I'll use them someday, but then I don't really, at least not yet. So that's why when I decided to, I bought all these different digitals of um, labels, from different people. And finally, I bought some from somebody, and they were just mostly cursive or handwritten numbers and words. And, they didn't like hardly make any sense. And they were a little bit blurry. And I thought, and I found that I use those the most. And because let's face it, a lot of labels are like very specific. And so if you're doing something and you kind of have a story going on, then they don't fit into that story, or you can't figure out a way to fit them in, then you're not going to use them. So that's why when I decided to design some labels, I designed them with more of a generic mindset so that they could be used kind of in any way for anything, right? And I made them a little bit blurry so that you didn't have to, you weren't focused on reading them. They were just an addition. They weren't the focus. So, because some of them you're like, oh, what does that say? No, you're not going to be able to to totally read it like that because that's not really what it was designed for. It's just designed to decorate or add a little something. So, and I find that I use labels like that more often than the more specific ones. I think the specific ones have a place, but would I probably buy them, to be printed and mass made again? No. But I would use like more generic ones again for sure. So that's just something that I've learned over, the course of doing this, some tried and true. Oh, I didn't use those little girls. Shame. They're so cute. They're off of a pattern. They were so cute. I should have fussy cut them and stuck them on that page. I don't know what I was thinking, because I don't think I ever ended up using them. I wonder where they are, if I still have them. I should fussy cut them. I'm thinking, where are those girls? I'm going to go back and fussy cut them and stick them in that book. You just watch. When I do the flip through, we'll watch and see if they're on that page or not. Oh, no, my old brain, I'll forget anyways. But I think it is. I think they do kind of belong there, to be quite honest. I kind of had like all this stuff that was left over, right? These labels and all this stuff. And I'm like, when am I ever really going to use this stuff again? I need to figure out how to incorporate a lot of this stuff in here somewhere. Start running through and tucking stuff in and gluing stuff down, flipping stuff over. Like, oh, I decided to use that like a tuck spot. You can glue part of it down and then you can tuck something in it. I thought that was kind of cute. And that little dress thing, it's kind of like a, yeah, see, it's a tiny little pocket type thing. And I think I end up sticking a ruler into it. One of those paper rulers. Because that ended up well. But see, like, for instance, that, like, that piece there with all the spools on it, I made that during a live stream. And it was a piece of junk mail. And I made it with a sewing theme, knowing that I would use it in this journal somewhere. What am I doing? I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put this. Oh, I think it says something about a bustier or something. And I knew I did that page and I should go back there and put it on there. Like, hey, wait, this belongs there. That needs to be there. I had so much stuff that I'd curated for this. And I had easily 2 journals worth of stuff too. And I mean, they're not skinny journals. They're thick. They're kind of fluffy journals. I mean, but this one was so fluffy that there's no way I was ever going to get it closed. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to separate this and make 2 journals because it's just too big. But I had no clue. I'd never really made a journal like this before. So it's just kind of my first attempt. So I had no clue, how adding stuff to it would make it so much, girthier. So now I know going forward that it does that. I really do like the elastic binding. It's probably one of my very favorites, especially for this type of journal, because I could kind of put it together and then take it apart and work on it as I wanted to. And I really, appreciated that about it. And you can still, if you wanted to add a page to it or 2, you still could do that. Or you wanted to take some out, you could do that too. Switch them around. You could take half of them out and make another starter journal and add to this one, add your own stuff. You could do whatever you wanted, really. But that thing there, that envelope, I'm pretty sure I made that on another live stream. So a lot of this stuff was made, in other videos and other live streams. The tags, I'm pretty sure I made in a video. That zip pocket, I know I made in a live stream. Those altered tags, I'm pretty sure I did a video on that. It might even be a Tim Holtz video, if you're interested in that. I kind of feel like that might be the case for that. Just trying to find things to tuck in here and there so that we can get this girl finished up and put to bed and start on a new one. My next journal is nothing like this journal, really. It's actually an altered book journal. And it's kind of sad, really, because I had already recorded all the videos for it and edited a bunch of them, and then they disappeared off my computer somehow, and I cannot find them. So I'm going to go back, but I'm going to do them a little bit differently. So you're still going to see her. Her name is Maggie, actually. So she's coming up in the future. And she's an altered book journal, and I've never done one before, and it is not a golden book. I do have some golden book. If I don't have double of a book or something, I have a really hard time tearing it apart. So I don't know why. I just don't know why. Like this altered book, I actually own one, and I purchased another one used and for a couple dollars, and so that I could make an altered book with it. And it was really used. Like, it used to be a library book. So I figured it had seen its wear, and I actually end up leaving the story together. You'll have to see. It ends up really cool. It's like one of my favorites. I hope you guys like it. I kind of did it with thinking, of my kids, so, and my grandkids, my kids and my grandkids. So it was fun to do, and I will definitely do another one. I already actually have a plan for another one to do during the holidays, so that'll be fun. I'll probably end up working on it with you guys. I think that would be a lot of fun. So kind of do it together and see how it's done, or see how I do it. I don't know if I do it the right way half the time. I'm just figuring it out as I go. That's why I said, don't come to my channel if you're trying to learn anything, because I'm not here to teach you. I'm just, if you want to watch and talk and maybe be inspired and maybe get an idea or two, that's terrific. But I am not a teacher. That's not my deal. There are so many people that are better at it than me. Yeah, that's not my intention. I'm just here to craft and chat and make some crafty friends and hang out. And that's about the extent of it. I'll share what I know, but I'm not guaranteeing that it's right. It's just, it's what I know to the best of my ability, but who knows what that means. I'm not an expert. Do as I say, not as I do. Or, hey, watch me make the mistakes so that you don't have to. You can learn from my mistakes. That's what I always say. I'm going to save you time, because you're not going to have to make mistakes. You're going to be like, oh, I remember that chick doing this, and she did it wrong, and this is how she fixed it. And that's how it's going to go. See, you'll have learned something, and I'll have been some use to you after all. Who would have thunk it? Who for sure would have thunk it? Oh, let's see. What are we doing in this journal now? We're still trying to figure out places to put all these decorations. Flipping through and back and forth and trying to figure it out. I did have some really cool stuff. Like, I had so much stuff that I really loved, and I didn't want to leave it out. That's why I ended up kind of like doing theme pages, like, oh, this is a scissor page and this is a thread page, because I had so much really cool stuff, and I was like, I've got to showcase it in some way. And instead of scattering it throughout the book, let's just put it in one page. Let's make it the focal point of this particular thing. And I think it worked out pretty well, actually. I like the way it turned out. I think it turned out pretty cute. And it was fun. It was for sure fun to make. But we are winding down. We're almost to the end of this book. Oh, these are the buttons. I forgot about these. I had all these like paper buttons. Some of them were like chipboard, but I thought, gosh, I need to scatter some of these throughout the book. I do think I did a button page, but I just had so many buttons, I didn't have enough room to use them all. And so I had a bunch left over, and who doesn't love buttons, right? I love buttons. You love buttons. Everybody loves buttons. I've got vintage buttons. I use buttons on all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so we're going to find places to scatter them throughout the book so that we can add some decorations maybe around through here. So I guess I do think I added some of those buttons, but I must do it at another time. I was trying to find the closure for this particular book and see if it works now that I had taken half of her off, because she was so chubby I couldn't put her closure on her. Now, I don't end up keeping the closure this way. This closure has a snap that I made. I actually got the measuring tape from Walmart for like $1. And, I cut the length I wanted and put, a snap on. There's 2 of them. But I end up cutting it and sewing it to the back of the journal and then sewing part of it to the front for the closure. You'll see, and I'll show you in the flip through anyways. But, and it turns out really cool. I like it, and it has a little bit of, more room for it to expand a little bit more. It's not so tight. But it's not a wraparound, and you don't have to worry about it falling off, or that's why I ended up taking it off, because when I was working on it, it kept on falling off, and I thought, I'm going to lose this, so I'm just going to take it off until I'm done with the journal. And I had the intention of sewing it on eventually, but I thought about using just one, but I really like the idea of the 2 closures. I just think it fits this better, and that's really how I designed it initially anyway. See how chubby she is still? She still has a lot in her. That's for sure. People call that, what, alligator mouth or whatever. But she still closes. So, and I'm good with that. So, I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh, I'm thinking maybe I could fold that back and make a pocket. But I don't really like that idea. And that's not really how I wanted it. And so I decide against that. Sometimes I like to think about it and try it out, but usually I have a really pretty clear idea of how I want things to work out. And if they don't work out that way, I can pivot. But if I can make them work, I'm going to make them work. And so that's what I do in this case. I think, oh, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to glue this down here, and I'm going to glue it to the back. Look, I hook it so it kind of doesn't move. I love that glue. Have I mentioned I love that glue? That glue is Aleene's Clear Tacky Glue. Love it, love it. Just can't say good enough things about it. I think it's my go-to for fabric. And I know that a lot of people use fabric tack, and I haven't tried it, and I might like it better actually. I don't know, but this seems to work just fine for me. So a lot of times in that regard, I have the mindset of it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in this case, it's not broke. So, and this is probably about all you're going to see, because the rest of it I'm going to have to sew. So I am going to sign off, and I'll see you in the flip through, and you'll get to see Gina and Anna both, and I hope you really love them, and I had a wonderful time making them. Until next time, you take care. Later. Thank you for watching Happy Place Crafting. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It means a whole lot.